In every corner of the world, history remembers men and women who rose above ordinary life to perform extraordinary acts. In Sri Lanka, one such name shines like a beacon of sacrifice and courage, Hasalaka Gamini. He was not a general, not a commander, not even a decorated veteran when he made history. He was just a young soldier from a humble farming family whose single act of bravery changed the course of a battle and saved hundreds of lives. This is the full story of Gamini Kularatne, forever remembered as Hasalaka Gamini, the hero of Elephant Pass. Our story begins in the peaceful village of Hasalaka, located in the central province of Sri Lanka. Hasalaka is a place surrounded by paddy fields, green hills, and the calm rhythm of rural life. It was here, on September 4, 1966, that a baby boy was born to a farming family. They named him Gamini Kularatne. Life in a farming village during the 1970s and 1980s was simple but not easy. Children grew up waking early, helping their parents in the fields, tending to cattle, fetching water, and learning responsibility from a very young age. From the beginning, Gamini was known for his discipline and quiet determination. He was not the kind of boy who sought attention. Instead, he worked hard, respected his elders, and helped his family whenever he could. His childhood friends later recalled that Gamini was strong, resilient, and always ready to help others, qualities that would one day define him as a soldier. But while life in Hasalaka was calm, the nation outside was changing rapidly. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Sri Lanka was facing increasing ethnic tensions that eventually erupted into a brutal civil war. The conflict was primarily between the government of Sri Lanka and the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, known as the LTTE. The LTTE sought to establish a separate state in the north and east of the country. By the mid-1980s, the war had escalated. Suicide bombings, ambushes, and large-scale battles became a grim reality. The Sri Lankan army, still young and developing, faced enormous challenges against an enemy that was well-organized and ruthless. It was during this period of uncertainty and violence that young men from villages across the island began joining the military. For them, it was both a duty to defend their nation and a chance to build a future. Among those young men was Gamini from Hasalaka.
In 1990, at the age of 24, Gamini joined the Sri Lanka Sinha Regiment, one of the oldest and most respected regiments in the army. Training was harsh. Recruits were pushed to their physical and mental limits. They had to march for miles, survive on little sleep, and master the use of weapons in stressful conditions. But Gamini, with his strong will, excelled. He never complained, never gave up. His instructors noted that he had a rare quality, the ability to stay calm under pressure. By the time he completed his training, he had earned the trust of his officers and the respect of his fellow soldiers. He was no longer just Gamini from Hasalaka. He was now Private Gamini Kularatne, a soldier of the Sinha regiment, ready to serve on the battlefield. To understand why Gamini's story is remembered to this day, we must first understand Elephant Pass. Elephant Pass is a narrow strip of land that connects the Jaffna Peninsula to the rest of Sri Lanka. Geographically, it is the only land route into Jaffna. Because of this, Elephant Pass has been called the gateway to Jaffna. Whoever controlled it controlled access to the entire peninsula. For the Sri Lanka army, holding Elephant Pass was not just important, It was vital. Losing it would mean losing the north and giving the LTTE a powerful stronghold. By 1991, the LTTE had grown stronger than ever. They had captured weapons, built armored vehicles, and gained international funding. Determined to take Jaffna completely under their control, they launched a massive offensive to capture Elephant Pass. This set the stage for one of the most desperate battles in Sri Lanka's modern history. In early July 1991, thousands of LTTE fighters surrounded the Elephant Pass army camp. They unleashed artillery fire, mortars, and waves of infantry assaults. Inside the camp, the Sri Lanka army soldiers, though outnumbered, fought bravely. But supplies were low and the enemy was relentless. The defenders were exhausted, with little food or rest. Still, they held their positions, knowing that the fate of the entire northern front rested on their shoulders. And then, in the middle of this chaos, the LTTE revealed their deadliest weapon, an armored bulldozer. This was no ordinary machine. The LTTE had taken a bulldozer and modified it into a terrifying weapon. The entire vehicle was covered with thick steel plates, making it nearly invincible to small arms fire. Inside, it was packed with explosives, enough to destroy bunkers and wipe out dozens of soldiers. The plan was simple but deadly. The bulldozer would break through the camp's defenses, reach the heart of the base, and explode, killing hundreds and ensuring victory for the LTTE. As the armored monster rolled forward, panic spread among the soldiers. Machine guns rattled, grenades were thrown, but nothing could stop its advance. Bullets bounced harmlessly off its steel walls. The bulldozer kept moving, closer and closer to the camp.
At this critical moment, one soldier stepped forward, Private Gamini Kularatne. He knew the danger. He knew that if the bulldozer reached the camp, it would be the end for everyone. Armed with only a few grenades, Gamini made the decision to act. It was not an order. It was a choice that would turn him into a legend. Under heavy enemy fire, Gamini ran towards the armored bulldozer. Bullets tore through the air around him, but he did not stop. He climbed onto the moving vehicle, gripping tightly as it shook and rattled forward. Pulling the pin of a grenade, he dropped it inside through a gap. The explosion rocked the machine, but still it moved. Without hesitation, Gamini pulled the pin on another grenade. This time, he jumped inside with it. The explosion was massive. The bulldozer was destroyed. And so was Gamini. He was just 25 years old when he died. The destruction of the bulldozer changed everything. The LTTE attack lost momentum. The defenders of Elephant Pass rallied with renewed courage, inspired by the sacrifice they had just witnessed. Hundreds of soldiers who would have been killed were saved because of one man's decision. The Elephant Pass camp remained standing that night because of Hasalaka Gamini. News of Gamini's sacrifice spread across Sri Lanka. In villages and towns, people spoke of the young soldier who had given his life to save his comrades. For his bravery, he was posthumously awarded the Parama Vibhushanaya, the highest military honor in Sri Lanka. From that day forward, he was no longer just Gamini Kularatne. He became Hasalaka Gamini, the hero of Elephant Pass. Statues were built in his memory. Schools and roads were named after him. His story entered history books to be told to future generations. But the true legacy of Hasalaka Gamini is not in the medals or monuments. It is in the inspiration he left behind. He showed that true heroism is not about rank or power or fame. It is about courage, sacrifice, and the willingness to put others before yourself. Even today, Decades later, Sri Lankan soldiers are reminded of Gamini's bravery during their training. His name continues to inspire not only soldiers, but ordinary people across the country. The story of Hasalaka Gamini is more than just a war story. It is the story of a young man from a small village who in one single moment changed the destiny of a battle and the history of his country. He was just 25 years old when he died. But in that short life, he achieved immortality. Hasalaka Gamini gave his today so that others could have their tomorrow. And in that sacrifice, he became a legend. This was the story of Hasalaka Gamini, the hero of Elephant Pass. If you found this story inspiring, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories from history and beyond. Your support helps us bring you more untold stories of heroes who shaped our world. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.